This is a quote by Jennifer Weiner. Divorce is not such a tragedy. A tragedy is staying in an unhappy marriage and teaching your children the wrong things about love. My name is Jenny Washira, a counseling psychologist and also a divorce recovery coach. I am the founder of Sadref Africa. This is to welcome you to our show. This is my story, whereby we get to share real and candid conversations about our life's experience. You will get to hear amazing stories from people who have gone through divorce. Remember, don't allow your past experience to define your present and your future. Broken crayons, still color. Hi, Emily.
Hi, Jenny.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you so
much. Our interview today is a conversation, and we call it "This is my story," whereby we get to converse about our real and candid experiences about life. Yeah, so I would want to welcome you to introduce yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah,
my name is Emily Omondi. I handle administration for many years now. And I'm a mother of 2 children, a boy and a girl, almost 12, almost 10. Yeah, in October they'll be 10, 12 respectively. Yeah, yes. And I'm a divorced woman.
Wow.
Or how do you say? I don't know how best to put that. Yes.
You put it in the best way, and I like the way you laughed about it. And I would want to know, perhaps you can tell us a bit about that. How did you get yourself there?
I was in an abusive marriage, and so I had to save myself of it, and I also had to save my children from that situation, so that I now bring up children in a healthy space. So I made a decision to leave.
Okay.
Yes,
okay. And a bit concerned. I know separation, divorce comes with a lot of distraction. You know, it's so devastating.
Yes,
I don't know what are some of the steps that you have taken towards your healing.
Yeah, early in the beginning it was a hard situation. It was a lot of blame games and everything and all that, and pain, you know, a lot of hurt that was happening, a lot of wounds. So when a marriage ends, there are a lot of things that now comes to just squeeze you, to make you feel like now you are done. So there was pain from the family side, pain from the children's side, pain from the whole marriage itself and everything. And then it reached a point that now I had to know that after the marriage ends, and then you're with your children, it is me and the children. Now it is me, now I'm facing my life. So I realized that I'm the only person here to save myself. Like, no one is coming to save me. I have to save myself. So that's when I started looking within. I decided to take responsibility of my healing. So, you know, there's a scripture in Romans 8:19, I think. It says that the creations are waiting for the sons of men to be revealed. I realized that in the days that I was blaming and I was very angry and bitter and resentful towards this person, I was not acting like a son. I am a born-again Christian, so I was acting like a baby. And babies will keep on blaming. They don't want to clean after themselves. They don't want to check, like, what did they do to end up here, you know. So I was like, since I no longer wanted to be like a child, I wanted to take care of myself from the place where I was. How did I get here? What did I do wrong also in that marriage that ended? And what was happening even before the marriage? Because sometimes, in most cases, troubled marriages are actually, there's some underlying things in either parties, the woman or the man. So I started looking within myself, like what was happening in my life before the marriage, what did I carry into the marriage, and what did the marriage unearth now, because the marriage was troubled, it was abusive, but now what did it bring out of me? So I started now thinking that now I need to heal my childhood wounds, such things. Then another thing that also I realized is there are things that I didn't get when the marriage ended. There was no compassion, there was no listening from people, there was no one to understand. And then as a Christian, it is very hard to explain yourself. And when you leave a marriage, you are in a very bad space whereby you don't have, people don't want to be identified with you. So I decided that now, because I didn't receive compassion, I started now giving myself compassion. I started extending compassion to myself, and the more I started extending compassion to myself, I would actually see the areas of my life that I had messed up in, the choices I made, the things that like for example father wounds. I realized that I had father wounds also. So what I did is I started now seeking healing in those spaces. I signed up for therapies in that area. Also signed up for therapy to heal my mother wounds. I also signed therapy also to heal myself, the child inside me, so that I know how to now handle my children. So at the same time, as I kept on extending compassion to myself, I realized that when I am compassionate to self, I give compassion to others who are going through the same thing that I was going through. So I started also sharing my story, writing, encouraging people, and also like I started now seeing people the way people could not see them, because there's a lot of things that happens. It is chaotic. There's a lot of noise that happens around a woman who's gone through divorce. So no one sees them the way they're supposed to be seen. I don't know, not no one, but a lot of people don't want to see them beyond the divorce, beyond the happenings, beyond the separation and all that. So I decided that now, from now henceforth, the same compassion I give to self, I'll give to other women. So that is what I've been doing. At the same time also, as a child, things that now I started healing my childhood wounds and all that. So I started now extending that same grace to other younger women, teenage moms, women who've gone through, who've gotten children out of wedlock, because my case was the same. I started just giving what I could not get when I left the marriage. So that is one of the things that I started doing. And at the same time also, I decided to belong to communities that were speaking the same language that I'm speaking, who had gone through the same stuff, and now we are able to talk, and I'm able to grow together with them in many spaces. So it was important, because now outside there is like everybody's doing their life, but now when you join at the same tribe, people who speak the same language, you realize that, oh, so this happened to you. And so I was able to now identify even the areas that I was failing in, and the areas that I needed to grow in. And it has been a journey. It has been a beautiful journey for me, because now I kept healing. I stopped focusing on the man, on the ex and all those things. I started focusing on myself, and I have become better day by day. Yes, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. I can hear of a woman who took time and focused on her inner self-work.
Yeah.
And I know in the journey of healing, it doesn't come easy. It's not linear. Perhaps some of the challenges that you have experienced when going through your healing.
I almost wanted everybody to agree with me.
I get you.
No, I wanted people to tell me, oh, Emily, it's been so hard. You're so hurting. Oh, let's come. We want to embrace you. Like, you know, I just want people to accept me. then it actually came with a lot of rejection. And I became so bitter because of that. I was expecting people, even people who loved me before marriage, when I was still married, and now they're seeing me like I don't even belong, I don't matter. So I became so bitter, and the rejection just did, it just did me bad. I stopped going to church. I stopped associating with people. I just decided to go to my corner and just cry, mourn, and do everything like for some time. It was quite some time, like I feel almost like 2 years, or 2 years, or 1 to 2 years. I was in that space of you're bad people, you don't like me, you can't see me. Then I realized that divorce is a very lonely journey, and it is a God journey. So when I realized that actually God has separated me from these people, so that He now deals with me and teaches me how to handle this situation and how also to help other people, then I made peace with it. I made peace with the loneliness. I made peace with people not being in my circle. I made peace with seeking approval, wanting to belong. I really love to belong. For me, during my marriage time, I was a church person. Like, I belonged in church. I was everywhere in church, So I was like, now I don't belong anywhere. I remember sometimes I would go to church and sit at the back just to belong. Like, and then at that time I was also not like, and then people would talk again. Like, someone just told me, Emily, hata ufanye nini, you know that he is your husband. And we've just met in church, So I was like, are you even serious? This is a ministry that I had served in and all that. And I was feeling like, now what is this now? So the more I sneaked into church to belong, the more I was feeling so hard. I was like, it's okay, God. I surrender and I want to sit with you. So I just sat with God, and actually God just unearthed me and packaged me again, and it's been beautiful. So during that season is the season that I also went to mission school. Yeah, so so almost 2 years I was in mission school, and I came out a better person, knowing my purpose in life and all that. Now I know the area where I've been called to serve, humanity and all that. So it's been beautiful. I discovered my passions. Not that discovered, I went back to the things that I used to love, because now marriage had actually stifled such things. I had stopped cooking. I feared cooking a lot. By the time I left the marriage, I could not go to the kitchen. Like, I used to only, like, my children even started eating Indomie, and we never used to eat those things, I feared kitchen, because kitchen was also used to,
it triggered you or something.
It was a trigger, because I thought that because I was a very good cook, how can my marriage end? As in, I was doing so well as a wife. So what is this now? So I could see the kitchen and I see a wife, and I'm like, no, I don't belong there. So I started cooking. I started cooking and also using food to bring healing to people and also bring conversations. I started also, like, I developed a passion for writing. I developed a blog and all that. I just started now speaking to young women, and it has been beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was so challenging. And then the rejection, now I turned it to, during that season I discovered a name that now God wants me to have, like the redeemed. I realized that I'm the redeemed of the Lord. I'm not the rejected one. And again, because God now separated me with these people, He brought in new people into my life. You're also a new person in my life, Yes, He just brought, like, He extended Himself in people and brought them to my circle, and so people just covered me. He just brought a whole lot of the persons that I needed in this journey, and even now.
Wow. And what I'm hearing from you, and it's so encouraging, that you chose to use your pain to make a difference in other people, in the society.
Yes, yeah.
You didn't choose to get stuck in your pain. You used the pain to also redefine, your purpose, your passion, your interest in life.
Yes.
And that is what you are using currently, to impact, lives out there.
Yes,
I
yeah.
think it's so encouraging to hear that from you, Emily.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned something about you have 2 children.
Yes, yeah.
And I would want to know how the parenting life has been after divorce. Has it been easy? Has it been difficult? How have you been handling that?
If it were up to me, actually, the government should just set aside a home for children from divorced families, so that those children stay there until the parents are sober. Then they are told,
hear you.
take your kids now when they're sober only, So in the beginning, it was a fight, I always wanted my children to have a father, a present father. I wanted to father, mother, children in the same house. That was my idea of marriage, and that is what I've always wanted. Then it happened. Then all of a sudden I felt that I didn't have authority over my children. I kept on watching and waiting for their father to come and parent them. I kept on waiting for him to call and oh, have you showered? Oh, have you done your homework? Now, why are you behaving like this? We need to do I just wanted a voice of a father over my children. And for some time after separation, I really was present but very absent in the lives of my children, because I was always waiting for him to parent, not even to come, but at least to have, his voice was supposed to be to be felt by the kids. So I was dormant at that time as a parent. It kept happening. I kept reaching out and asking to please be present in the lives of the children, but it could not happen. And the more I reached out, the more it became worse, and the more there was a lot of trouble in the co-parenting thing and all those things. So, and then I was one time I sit with myself and I'm now for how long? My son is growing, my daughter is also growing. So if I keep waiting and running around without being involved intentionally in the lives of my children, what happens to me? And what happens to my children also? So one thing that I did is I signed up for parenting classes, and with that I now got the strength and the courage to be involved in my children's lives, completely without looking through the fence. Oh, is he coming? Did he come? Did he do what? What is he doing in the lives of the children? So I started sitting with my children, even boys matters. I started now discussing with my son, you are growing, this and this is going to happen, and I've noticed this is happening in your body, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I was I don't have someone to reach out to. Remember, I was also not in church. So I don't have brothers, brothers in church who I can tell that, oh, you need to talk to my son, or, you need to talk to my daughter. I didn't have such. So I was I have to be present. I have to involve myself in the lives of my children emotionally and intentionally in every way. So I just started now now I was because I don't know how, I may not know how to do it now, let me bring conversations in my children's lives. I started giving them spaces to talk, to speak their heart, to just say things the way they feel, to talk about the bad marriage, to talk about the separation that happened, to talk about how they feel being fatherless, not they don't have a father in their house every day. So now they started getting confidence to share things in their lives also. So it became easier for me to know how to approach issues, how to handle issues, how to speak into their lives, and even how to pray for them. So I stopped being at the fence, but now I started involving myself in their lives.
Wow.
Without thinking, oh, food, oh, rent, oh, what, he's not done such. That bitterness I had to, such kind of anger and such kind of thought process, I had to lay it aside so that I become fully present in the lives of my children. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Absolutely amazing. I can hear a lot of, you're really intentional, about taking, acting on the situations that were around you. You did not sit and wait for people or for help to find you. You went looking for help. You talked about even enrolling for parenting classes so that you can understand how to navigate through the area of parenting. You had to go look for a community where you can, you belong, so that the people who will understand you, who will understand your language, looking for your tribe. So I can see a lot of things that you did yourself so that you can get out of the mud that you were in. And perhaps one or two of the highs, in your new terrain, the area of growth, and then the highs that you have experienced in that process.
Oh, the highs. There have been a lot of them. I found my voice.
Wow.
I found my voice. I started seeing myself with the eyes of God, and I have really grown in the area of my expectations, in the sense that I don't expect me to make, or anyone else, to say that, Emily, you are special. Emily, like, I started seeing myself without waiting for someone else to see me. That was a huge thing for me, because I was always waiting for someone to approve of me, to tell me that I'm important, tell me that I'm worth, loving and all those things. I stopped waiting for that, and that has been a very big thing, because now it applies in my job space, in my workspace. It applies in areas of interactions and all that, and how I interact with people outside there, apart from my work, social life and all that. I don't sit and wait for someone to tell me that, oh, you're good. I just know from within myself that, Emily, you are doing well in this area. Emily, you are growing. And also I stopped carrying burdens. Like, I don't gather things, because I realize that marriage, separation and divorce is so heavy. So when I live my life thinking, like, picking things everywhere, offenses and all that, I'll go back to the same place I was. So I live light, I walk light, I make sure that I am joyous all the time, I am happy, and I extend that to people around me. Then also I started now seeing myself I mentioned being a son in the kingdom of God. I started seeing that I'm supposed to be doing something that is also adding value to the community. I started seeing myself that I'm a very important person in the kingdom, so which means I'm not supposed to sit pretty. So I started also now extending such kind of services to people, and also now knowing that God is actually watching me to see me fruitful. Like, he wants me fruitful. He wants people that are around me to be fruitful. So I started thinking that, so I'm this special. So I started coming out. Like, I'm no longer in the corner and all that. Those are the areas of that I've grown in.
I'm just thinking, do you have any regret for the decision that you made of stepping out?
No, I don't have any regrets at all. I don't regret leaving my marriage. I just realized that there was so much inside me, and if I would have continued staying, instead I would have died, and all those gifts that God had put inside me would have also died. I've just discovered that there were much more that was supposed to be experienced by the world, about me. So, and I'll get married again. So, and I have no regrets at all.
So you still believe in the institution of marriage?
Oh no, I love marriage.
Nice.
I am an ambassador of like me. I love family. I love marriage.
Wow.
Yes, yeah. So I don't have any hate for marriage, but unless it is a bad marriage, yeah, I don't advocate for abusive marriages. Yeah.
Good. And I know your story is really amazing. It's just so inspiring. And I know we have people who would get to watch this. What would you encourage them? Perhaps people who are in that space that you are in sometimes back, and having been conquered that, what words of wisdom may you tell them? And perhaps you can face the camera so that you give them a few tips.
I wouldn't say that tips, but I would say it is a phase, and the phases are actually passing. Like when it happens the first time, it is very hard because we have never been divorced before. We have never been separated before. It happens and then you don't know how to handle it, but you trust the process, because I know as you go through the process, there is a prize at the end of it. There is revealing that happens at the end of it. Now the process brings the best out of you. And like a divorce or separation is just like any life challenge that happens to anyone. Like, you see, the same way someone can struggle with a disease, with an illness a long time. So a time reaches that now we heal through it, we heal and we get better, and you become now a healer yourself. So actually it is never in vain to go through it. It is a process that it is not in vain that we go through divorce. And again, there's no regret, because there is a reason as to why we get divorced. Like you don't just wake up and get divorced. There's something that happened that made it to end like that. So which means you become better on the other side. And there's a whole lot of life happening outside there that also actually will happen to you. So it is just a process.